Back to our election coverage. The race for LA County District Attorney is over. Former federal prosecutor Nathan Hochman defeating the incumbent George Gascon by a landslide. Hochman leading by more than 500,000 votes with 59% of the vote in.
District Attorney-elect Nathan Hochman joins us now here in studio. Good morning and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You were critical of District Attorney George Gascon's policies that he and other progressives believe represent needed reforms. You've promised change. What specific changes should we expect here in Los Angeles County?
So what I was not critical about is the need to actually focus on the problems in the system. What I definitely disagree with George Gascon over were the solutions. He adopted extreme pro-criminal policies that weren't focused on the facts or the laws, but predetermined that certain crimes, like stealing under $950 if you were a juvenile, engaging in violent conduct if you were a gang member, were not going to be prosecuted no matter what the facts and the law are. I reject those extreme policies, but I also reject the extreme mass incarceration policies that, again, don't care about the facts and the law. They just want to put as many people in jail as possible. Where I come down is the middle, and I call it the hard work middle or the hard middle, because you have to do the work. You got to look at each case individually, the individual defendant, the crime committed, and the impact on the victim to determine who the true threats are to our public safety, who need to be behind bars. Those are often the repeat offenders.
But this sounds like your campaign talking points. What about specific changes? Day one, what are you going to do?
Well, that's just it. My campaign talking points are exactly what I will do on day one, which is I will eliminate these pro-criminal extreme policies. I will go back to a hard middle approach, focusing on each case individually, rejecting mass incarceration, and empowering those prosecutors. Those are the 750 prosecutors that George Gascon didn't even speak to. I not only got the endorsement of their union, I've spoken to over 400 of them to date. And I'm going to listen and learn from them. They bring collectively thousands of years of prosecutorial experience, and while I have 34 years, I understand the difference. So I will ask them what is working, and we'll continue it. What is not working, and their solution to fix it, and we'll implement those solutions in a fair, just, and impartial way.
I want to ask you just quickly about something you said last night. You said, I've got tens of thousands of law enforcement officers who will no longer say, my hands are tied. How are their hands tied under Gascon, and what are you going to do to change that?
So the reason their hands were tied is, let's take theft. Let's take a juvenile going into a 7-Eleven and stealing a couple $100s. In fact, we saw recently 12 to 15-year-olds bike to a 7-Eleven, drop their bikes in front, run into the 7-Eleven, ransack it, get back on their bike, stuff their pants with stolen goods, and bike away. The reason that the police officers would look at that and say our hands are tied is that George Gascon had a policy saying we're not prosecuting that at all, no matter what the facts and the law are. I will remove that prohibition to say go ahead and do your job. Bring us great cases beyond a reasonable doubt with legally admissible evidence, and we will then go ahead and process those cases. We'll give a fair shot to every one of those cases that we have. Right now, Gascon has over 10,000 unfiled cases. That's 10,000 victims, 10,000 suspects that have been waiting months or years for their day in court or justice to be had. Again, we will create a system that helps process those cases because in the past, those cases were less than 100.
District Attorney Gascon recently made headlines by saying that he supports clemency for Eric and Lyle Menendez. They're currently serving life sentences without the possibility of parole for their shotgun killings of their parents. And I just wonder, what is your position on the resentencing specific to that case?
So here's my approach, whether it's the Menendez case in the media or quite honestly any case, even if it's not in the media. You got to do the hard work. You got to look in that case at thousands of pages of confidential prison files. You got to review thousands of trial transcripts from months-long trials. You got to speak to the prosecutors, law enforcement, defense counsel, review the exhibits, speak to the victim families and their members. And only then can you be in a position to determine whether resentencing is the appropriate remedy in this situation, whether or not what's been asked for in the resentencing is the appropriate request. I'm not in that position now. The case may or may not land on my desk, but I can tell you, if I do have to make that call, I will do the hard work to make the right decision.
During your campaign, out and about talking to voters, talking to Angelenos, what is it that they said to you that they wanted?
What's interesting is that I ran as an independent against a Democrat in a hyper-partisan world, and I won. And what I think happened is that safety became a crossover political issue. So I spoke to ultra-left liberals, independents, far-right Republicans. I spoke to Black, white, Latino, Asian organizations, every different religion. I spoke to people, thousands of people throughout this county, from Long Beach to LA to Lancaster, from Santa Monica to the San Gabriel, San Fernando, and Santa Clarita valleys. And what they don't agree on much, I will tell you that. But they do agree on this, that safety matters to every family, whether it's for themselves or their kids, whether it's to go out at night or even during the day. They want to have a safe situation where they don't have to worry about their car being broken into, their house being broken into. Store owners worried that their store is going to be targeted again and again and again. That is a crossover issue, and I think that is responsible for the election victory that I just had, that enough people said enough is enough.
Is there any specific, all of you who get elected have on day one, I plan to do this. Is there a specific policy number one that you plan to implement?
So the policies, well, first we'll eliminate the prohibitions on considering certain evidence and certain crimes for all the different cases. And again, it's not a swing back to mass incarceration. It's basically holding prisoners, criminals, and suspects accountable. But we're going to focus on a whole variety of issues. Fentanyl poisoning, for instance, is the #1 killer of 18 to 35-year-olds. We need to launch both a massive education campaign targeting kids as young as 4th, 5th grade, the middle schools, the high schools, to let them know this isn't about getting high anymore. 2 milligrams will kill you in 2 minutes. It's 50 times stronger than heroin. And again, it will kill more 18 to 35-year-olds than anything out there. So we'll couple that with a major enforcement effort. And not just a local one. I hope to lead a local, state, and federal task force going after these fentanyl poisoners. And I use that word intentionally. These are not drug dealers. These are people who are actually poisoning people, often without their knowledge, and they need to be held accountable for their actions. We'll also couple that with human trafficking. We will go after the human traffickers in a way they haven't seen in probably a decade, because that is a situation where we have some of the most vulnerable people in our society that have been targeted, that are victims of the human traffickers, and they've gotten a relative pass over the last 4 years. That pass is over. And we'll do the same thing with homelessness. The DA's office has to be a partner in the solution for homelessness. You can't do it by yourself. It's not a situation where you can criminalize your way out of homelessness. But the DA's office has to work with law enforcement, with, for instance, the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, the Department of Mental Health, Public Works, Vocational Services, to go out in a partnership approach. Make sure that the homeless are being dealt with compassionately, but let them understand that if they want to engage in crimes, those crimes will have consequences.
District Attorney-elect Nathan Hochman, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much.